So welcome everyone. My name is Evangeline. I'm the Alumni Engagement Officer with the CSE Alumni team. And thank you so much for joining the CSE Development in Action webinar today. I'm pleased to welcome you all for the webinar on FinTech, which is financial technology, and its uses and impact on sustainable development in Asia Pacific. A very interesting topic, and I'm looking forward to hearing more from our speaker. I'm thrilled to introduce you to our webinar speaker, Commonwealth alumnus Jewel Kumar Roy from Bangladesh. Jewel is currently an assistant professor at the Jatia Kazi Nazrul Islam University in Bangladesh. His research interests include blockchain, some words in trend right now, blockchain, cryptocurrency, financial technology, financial econometrics, and sustainable finance. And he has published many articles around these topics in national and international journals, which you can all access online as well. If you are interested in connecting with Jewel, please do so via LinkedIn. If you have any questions on this webinar topic or around FinTech, please do send these questions in the chat box, and I will make sure to address these during the Q&A session. So without any further ado, I would now hand over to Jewel. A warm welcome, Jewel, and thank you so much for delivering this webinar with us.
Thanks, Eva. Thank you for this opportunity to present that in front of lots of Commonwealth scholars. And today I'm happy to share that experience and knowledge with all scholars. Today I will the topic is FinTech, its uses and impact that I will cover on the sustainable development in Asia Pacific. And this will cover under the Commonwealth that Scholarship Commission of promoting global prosperity. In this topic, I will cover lots of that ins and outs about the FinTech with the link with sustainable development. So this is my profile. Already Eva explained where I am now working. I'm working as an assistant professor at Department of Finance and Banking at the Faculty of Business Administration, Jatia Kazi Nazrul Islam University, Bangladesh. And my background in the academic is I have done that MSc in Financial Technology from University of Stirling, UK, and under the Commonwealth Shared Scholarship 2021. Before that, I have that also graduated from University of Pune. I have done my BBA and MBA from University of Pune, India. And in my BBA, I was ICCR scholar in 2009 session. From there, I have covered my academic background as well. Before that, I have completed my SSC and HSC from Bangladesh. Today, our outline regarding this webinar, I have covered under this flowchart. First of all, we will cover the financial technology. Then I will cover the financial market with the linkage with financial technology. Then I will cover the Industry 4.0, then SDG 2030. Then I will cover that global ranking of FinTech, then global ranking from Asia Pacific ranking. Then what are the challenges faced by this FinTech area? And last but not the least, I will cover my research area as well. So let's go to the FinTech world. Okay, here you can see that financial technology, which is also named as FinTech. What does this mean? Basically, FinTech is a term that refers to the use of technology to provide financial services. It encompasses a broad range of services, including banking, insurance, investment, management, and payment. So you can see that FinTech companies use digital platform and technologies such as mobile apps, blockchain, and artificial intelligence to offer services that are more efficient, convenient, and affordable than traditional financial institutions. The term FinTech is combination of financial and technology, and that reflects the growing convergence of finance and technology in today's economy. Then FinTech has disrupted the traditional financial services industry and has transformed the way people access and use financial services. Here you can see the area of FinTech. You can go for the blockchain, you can go for payment, that is digital payment, then you can go for exchange, then you can do the research. If you are in the education field, then in the FinTech, you can go for digital money, then you can go for financial that online banking and in the financial institution, then in the investment area and as well as crowdfunding. So these are the area where you can go for the FinTech that will cover around the world. So this FinTech has some connection with the financial markets. So here we can see the financial market. So how does this financial market related with the FinTech, where this FinTech market is reshaping? See, in the financial market, you have bank and other financial institutions, and you have also the investor and borrower. So you know this is the traditional financial market, and here we can see the overall overview of the traditional market. But how this financial technology or FinTech involved in this financial market? So here are the solutions. First of all, we can see the smart solutions. So if we talk about the smart solution in today's digital era, business is all about providing smart solutions to consumer. And this ever-growing need for smart solution has forced the finance industry to come up with solutions that are robust, flexible, and quick. For example, the emergence of online platform allows consumers as well as businesses to lend and borrow from each other. This lending and borrowing innovation has manifested alternative credit model using powerful data analytics to increase lending processes and lower the operational cost. So you can see with the help of financial technology, you can give the smart solution to the consumer. Then we will move to the second one, redefining customer services. In the finance and banking industry or in the financial market also, we're driving customer satisfaction as higher as possible. That is the ultimate goal. To achieve this, FinTech startups offer 24/7 access to financial service via the internet and mobility. For example, you can take the example of social media. If you have this example, you can go for that. It is the more expected to become the primary sources to connect, engage, and inform customers. Where you can do for the that research also. That research shows that social media will be the main channel where consumers will research and compare different financial institutions offering. So there are lots of research done in this area. So ultimate goal is 24/7 services to the customer, where traditional banking can't do that. In the next one, we can move in the insurance and asset management. FinTech has, without any doubt, caused a high level of disruption to the consumer banking and the lending and borrowing practices. And where we can see this FinTech area is the right pace of change that in the global insurance industry as well is being accelerated far more quickly than anyone imagined. And in the investment area also, this also has the experiencing of our this powerful pull into the vortex of innovation technological development. And in the innovation of equity crowdfunding and lending are providing quick asset access to asset class, which are previously unavailable to average individual investor. So here we can use a technology which is driven by machine learning, and with the help of data analytics, we can go for the investment sector. There we can automatically select the product for the ultimate investor, and we can categorize the investor as well according to the investment pattern. And last but not the least, we will go for the e-wallet solution as well. So this is undoubtedly that people are using these e-wallet services around us. In UK, I have already used Apple Pay, Google Pay, PayPal, that Samsung Wallet everywhere in UK. See, this is the growing that penetration of smartphone technology in our everyday life has that encouraged financial institution to enter the mobile banking services through fintech. So here we have also number of unbanked and underbanked in developing countries, which is still high. Mobile banking and e-wallet services like PhonePe, M-Pesa in our country, like Bikash, and also our that bank is providing that is called as Sonali e-wallet services. So that all from the government bank and private organization, that MFS. So they all are providing this kind of e-wallet solution. So overall, we can say that this is the best way to disrupt the financial market with the help of fintech. Next, we will move to the fintech in the industrial revolution era 4.0. You all know that we are in the industry 4.0. So here you can stand today in the industry 4.0, and this also that disrupt with the help of fintech market, and fintech has the potential to play a significant role in the development of industry 4.0. The fourth industrial revolution were categorized by the integration of digital, physical, and biological system. And there are some that relationship with this fintech with the help of this industry 4.0, where you will go for that cyber physical system, Internet of Things, and network. So we will cover some point under this. First of all, I will go for digital that transformation. In the digital transformation, fintech can support the digital transformation of that traditional industries, where improving efficiency, reducing cost, and enabling new business model. These are the 3 points which we'll cover under this digital transformation. In the next point, supply chain finance. In the supply chain finance, fintech can provide innovative financial solution to support the financing of supply chain, then improving the flow of goods and services. Then move to the next point, Internet of Things. Fintech can support the development and deployment of IoT technologies, enabling real-time monitoring and control of physical system. Then I will go for the next point, that is artificial intelligence or AI, which is the more effective technology nowadays. And fintech can support the integration of artificial intelligence technology into financial services, where they can improving risk management, decision making, and customer experience. And the next one is blockchain. So if I will talk about blockchain, I will cover the meaning of blockchain. Blockchain is a shared, immutable that ledger that facilitates the process of recording transaction and tracking asset in a business network. So fintech can help to improve transparency, security, and efficiency in supply chain management through the use of blockchain technology as well. So if I will cover overall perspective, fintech has the potential to support the development of industry 4.0 by enabling new technologies, improving efficiencies, and enabling new business models. So this all under this fintech with the relationship with industry 4.0. Then I will move to the next slide. Here you can see the importance of that SDG, where how fintech works as a catalyst for achieving SDG 30 in the financial system. So fintech has the potential to play a significant role in supporting the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal by 2030. So here from this Sustainable Development Goal, fintech will focus on two goals. The first one is goal number 8, decent work and economic growth. And the next one is goal number 9, industry, innovation, and infrastructure. So how that happened? There are some following that way I will cover. So first of all is financial inclusion. So FinTech can help to improve financial inclusion by providing access to financial services to underserved and underbanked population, such as rural communities and low-income individuals. And the next one is digital payment. FinTech can support the adoption of digital payment, reducing the resilience on cash transaction and improving transparency and accountability in financial transactions. Then the microfinance. FinTech can support microfinance initiatives by providing access to capital for small businesses and entrepreneurs in underserved communities. Then the next one is climate action. FinTech can play a role in promoting sustainable and responsible investment, supporting the transition to a low carbon economy and helping to mitigate the effect of climate change. And the last but not the least is affordable and clean energy. FinTech can help to finance renewable energy projects, promoting the shift towards clean energy sources and reducing greenhouse gas emission. So overall, we can say that FinTech has the potential to play a transformative role in supporting the achievement of the SDG, contributing to a more sustainable and equitable future for all. So we all expecting that future. So that's all about the SDG with the relation with FinTech. Then I will go for the next slide, which is covering the 2021 Global FinTech ranking. So here you can see the global picture where you will find out the first, second, and third position, which all are occupied by US, UK, as well as Israel. So where is the Asian market? So I have to focus on the Asia Pacific region. So I will go to the next slide. So here you can find out the global ranking of Asia Pacific. So here you will see in one side Asia Pacific country ranking, and in the another side is Asia Pacific city ranking. First of all, the most that wanted country which is in this area in the global ranking with the help of Asia Pacific and in the Commonwealth nation as well, you will find out the first one in the first ranking in the Asia Pacific is Singapore, but overall ranking is 4. So fourth position Singapore has in the place in 2021 global FinTech ranking. And if we see the second position, which is under Australia, global ranking is 6th, and the third one is China, global ranking is 15th. So in the city as well, in that Asia Pacific city ranking, you will find out the Hong Kong, the country China is in the first position and global ranking is 9. Singapore, country from Singapore, global ranking is 10, and Sydney, Australia, global ranking is 11. And here our country Bangladesh stand for that's 16th in Asia and 78th ranked in the global ranking platform. So we hope that we will focus on the topmost position in the global rank. So for that, we have some challenges. So in the next slide, I will cover the challenges. So here are some challenges we are facing nowadays. So first of all, I will go for that key challenges where our Asia Pacific region faced a range of that challenges. That first one is including as in regulatory challenges. So in the regulatory challenges in many Asia Pacific countries can be complex and fragmented, making it challenging for FinTech to navigate. So this can lead to delay and uncertainties in obtaining necessary licenses and approval, and can create compliance risk. So you know there is a currency which is called as cryptocurrency or digital currency. So there are some regulatory problem we are facing But in the country called as Japan, Singapore, Australia, they have cleared the regulation in place of digital currency exchange and other fintech companies dealing with cryptocurrencies. But the country like China in India, there are restrictions or that even outright ban on cryptocurrency as well. In our country, Bangladesh also, cryptocurrency is banned. Apart from that, we have some regulatory body issues in implementing data protection law and guidelines, such as General Data Protection Regulation, GDPR, in the European Union, and Personal Data Protection Act, PDPA, in Singapore. So that is also that regulatory problem we are facing in the Asia Pacific region. Then limited access to funding. In the limited access to funding, we have lacks of institutional support and investment. There are two areas. First one is know your customer, or KYC, and another area is anti-money laundering. Both are the costliest area where high cost of compliance with the issue in this regulatory requirement. And if we see the country called as Singapore and Malaysia, that their government have launched initiative to support fintech development and investment, but this effort are still limited in many other countries in the region. So Singapore and Malaysia, they are doing great job in this area. Then the next one is lack of awareness and trust. Many people in Asia Pacific region are not aware of what fintech is and how it can benefit them. Then this lack of awareness can make it difficult for fintech to attract customer. Then if they can't attract the customer, then how the business will happen in this area? So here we have to reluctant of consumer to adopt new financial technologies. So that is the area we can cover. Then if we take the example of phishing attack, so first of all, I will cover the phishing. Phishing refers to an attempt to steal sensitive information, typically in the form of username, password, credit card numbers, bank account information, or other important data in order to utilize or sell the stolen information. So in the fintech area, this phishing attack where scammers impersonate that legitimate fintech companies to trick user into revealing their personal information are becoming increasingly common. So that is the common phenomena in most of the Asian countries. So that happens. Then if I go for the cybersecurity risk, in the cybersecurity risks, this is the increasing threat of data breach and cyber attack in the Asia Pacific region. There is an attack called as ransom attack, and another attack is called as distributed denial of service, or DDoS attack. So in our country, we have already faced this kind of problem. Cybersecurity risks in our country happened in 2016 at Bangladesh Bank. That is our central bank. Bangladesh Bank cyber haste in 2016 is an example of a major cybersecurity incident that took in our country. So what happened in that time? In February 2016, hackers breached that computer system of Bangladesh Bank, the country's central bank, and attempted to transfer $1 billion from its account at the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. The hackers were able to transfer $81 million to accounts in the Philippines, but another $850 million in transfer requests were stopped by the Federal Reserve Bank due to suspicious transaction. So that we have faced in that time in 2016. So nowadays, our Bangladesh Bank is more active in this area regarding the cybersecurity risk. So then infrastructure challenge. In this infrastructure challenge, in many countries in the Asia Pacific region have limited access to reliable internet and mobile network, which can make it difficult for fintech to reach customer and offer digital services. So this lack of reliable, affordable, and internet connectivity in some market which is the most important challenges we are facing in this Asia Pacific region. So that is also the costliest area as well. So that is the area we are facing in our Asia Pacific region. Then the last but not the least, it is talent shortage. So in the talent shortage, why talent shortage happen? If I see around my my country in the Asia Pacific region, so if I search for the universities which are providing the education called as data science, blockchain, artificial intelligence, fintech, but I couldn't find that much of universities or departments they are providing this kind of degrees. That's why we have this kind of shortage in our country as well as in the Asia Pacific region. So this lack of experienced professional where these educated people will go with their expertise in the both that finance and technology. So if we can provide this kind of services in our region, then I think we can more effective in this area. So that is the talent shortage we have. So we have to build these degrees called as blockchain, artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, then fintech, data science. So that more and more we have to provide to reduce this talent shortage. So overall, I can say that these challenges highlights the need of fintech in the Asia Pacific region to be agile and innovative, then to work closely with the regulators and other stakeholders to build a sustainable ecosystem. So I think the Asia Pacific region will do this. Now I will go for my area. So here you can see that my research areas which I have covered during my MSc dissertation as well. Here my topic is written development of machine learning method for credit risk assessment of P2P or peer-to-peer lending platforms in the context of big data. Basically, I have done some machine learning method for risk assessment because in our country as well as in this peer-to-peer lending, there are some bad loans. So I have identified the bad loans. So there are some features. From that features, I have covered some features which is responsible for bad loans. So that I have covered in my dissertation. Then after that, I have done another that excellent the course from the Frankfurt School of Blockchain Center. So there I have done 18-week mentoring program, empowering talent for leadership in the DeFi, that is decentralized finance space. This is the advanced version of the financial services in the area of that artificial intelligence, blockchain, and financial technology. So here in my last week, I have written one article which was the requirement for my course, that program. So the name of the article I have written is Decentralized Finance Credit, a way for lending market in Industry 4.0. So there I have shown some area where we can transfer from the traditional finance to the decentralized finance. So there we will go for the credit market. That will help the businessman from different sectors. Mostly I have focused on the SME sectors, small, medium enterprises. Then if you see this slide where I have already done some research which recently published in resources policies, most effective that publication I have done. The title of the research I have done is the impact of unpredictable resource prices and equity volatility in advanced and emerging economies, and econometric and machine learning approaches that I have covered in this research. So basically, I just covered the stock market where the stock exchanges have some indexes in different countries. So from that index, I have covered the volatility of that indexes from the log return. So that I have done during that research. Then recently I have presented my that research paper in international conference on 4IR for emerging future with my co-author, which that covered by our that science and technology that affairs subcommittee from our that ruling party, Bangladesh Awami League. So I have done that I have presented my paper from there. That was an excellent experience for me as well. These are the papers link for my recent research. Here in the last paper, which I have written in 2022, evaluating the return volatility of cryptocurrency market. That was an econometrics modeling method, which has published in Acta Polytechnica Hungarica. So that was also related with the cryptocurrency market, where I have shown that is the most important cryptocurrency in the world is Bitcoin. With the help of Bitcoin, I have covered the other cryptocurrencies like Ethereum. So where I have shown with the return volatility of that market. So with the help of econometrics modeling method. So that's all about my research. So, but here I can't stop, because in my next slide, I will cover the future of FinTech. So I have to think again and again about the future technologies in this FinTech area. So here I have identified some important point where these are the trends in this area. So the future of FinTech looks very promising, with continued growth and innovation expected in the coming years. Here are some of the few trends and prediction from my side. First of all, there are increased adoption of blockchain technologies. I have already covered the blockchain. So blockchain technologies, which provides a secure and transparent way to store and share data, then already has a significant impact on the financial services industry. Then as more companies and industries begin to embrace blockchain technologies, it is likely that FinTech will continue to innovate and find new way to leverage this technology. Then expansion of digital banking. Here you can see in the digital banking has become increasingly popular, with many consumers now preferring to use mobile apps and online platforms for their banking needs. Then as digital banking continue to grow, FinTech companies will likely continue to develop and offer new features and services to meet the evolving needs of consumers. Then if you see the growth of artificial intelligence, this artificial intelligence is already being used in FinTech for tasks such as fraud detection and credit scoring. Then as AI continue to improve and become more widely adopted, it is likely that FinTech companies will continue to find new way to use this technology to streamline and automate financial processes. Then increasing focus on financial inclusion. Many FinTech companies are focused on providing financial services to underbanked and unbanked population. As the importance of financial inclusion continue to be recognized, it is likely that FinTech companies will continue to develop new products and services to meet the need of this underserved population. So we have done some work in our country with the help of that microfinance. Our Nobel laureate Dr. Mohammad Yunus, who in that introduced Grameen Bank with the microfinance. So nowadays we are focusing on that microfinance with the help of our own company called as that Bikash in our country. With the help of Citibank, they are providing microloan or microfinance up to 20,000 taka in our currency. So that is the way they are providing some loans. So you can say that this is the new area of the financial inclusion. Then the last but not the least is integration of fintech with other industries. You can say you can go for any industry in the that this fintech is just disrupting the financial industry. Not at all. It disrupt any industry such as healthcare and real estate, and you can go anywhere you want in any industry. You can use this fintech. As fintech continues to expand and evolve, it is likely that we will see more integration between fintech and other industries in pharmaceutical industries, healthcare industries, that creating new tech opportunities for innovation and growth. So this all I have covered. So overall, I can say that the future of fintech looks bright, and you can say that you can work in this area. I think in the next decade as well. So I will go for my PhD in this area, and I think uh, I have a plan for disrupt this market for some people who are disabled or that uh, mostly I will cover the area for disabled people as well in my PhD. So um, I don't want to close, but time is limited, so I have to close. So I've reached in my conclusion. So if I summarize overall presentation I have covered, so I have covered 3 points or 3 sentences, you can say. The first one is focused on that on the industry 4.0. So here fintech has the potential to support the development of industry 4.0 by enabling new technologies, improving efficiencies, and enabling new business models. Then I move to the second one is SDG, a Sustainable Development Goal, that fintech has the potential to play a transformative role in supporting the achievement of the SDG, contributing to a more sustainable and equitable future for all. We all want this. And last but not the least, the future of fintech looks bright with continued growth and innovation expected to drive change and disruption in the financial services industry and beyond. So I hope that I just covered little bit from this fintech field. So these are my some references I have covered for this presentation. This is my little effort I have given in to that. I don't know that you are satisfied with my presentation, but I just give some effort from different sources I have that covered. So this is the references I have covered. Now I will hand over to that Eva in the Q&A session.
Thank you so much, Jewel. That was an amazing webinar presentation. And I think I can speak for everyone in the webinar that you provided great insights and an overview on what is fintech, what is financial technology, and how this is replacing or reshaping the financial market. Thank you also for highlighting the some of the services that I'm sure most of us use, such as Apple Pay or Google Pay in our day-to-day life, thanks to the mobile technology. And it was really great to learn more about how fintech can help in achieving the UN Sustainable Development Goals. I was also really happy to know more about your efforts in continuous professional development opportunities, such as the Frankfurt School of the mentoring program by the Frankfurt School of Blockchain Technology. And to the rest of the attendees who are attending, I'm also pleased to let you know that Jewel is one of our mentors as well in the CSE mentoring program, sharing his expertise with a current scholar. So good luck with pursuing further opportunities within the sector, especially the PhD aspirations as well. So thank you so much, Jewel, for your webinar presentation. And I would now like to open the Q&A session. Thank you to everyone who sent in your question via the registration form. I'm happy to open the Q&A session with some of these questions. So, Jewel, if you're ready, I could address some of the questions to you, and then please do continue sending your questions to Jewel about the topic, about his expertise in FinTech in the chat box. We have around 15 to 20 minutes for the Q&A session. All right, Jewel. So the first question is, how has financial technology been used in health financing to support financial equity?
Okay, that's a nice question. So if you just that overall overview of the financial technology, so if we see that this has played a significant role in promoting financial equity in health financing by increasing access to affordable and efficient financial services. So there are some points regarding this that I will cover. First of all, mobile payment solution, which is the most important area, which has been used to increase access to health financing for people who are traditionally excluded from formal financial services. So you can see the remote area. So here, if you see the example of the Kenya, M-Pesa has been used to pay for healthcare services, then enabling people to access healthcare without having a physically travel to healthcare facilities or have access to traditional banking services. Then in the next one is health savings account. In the health savings account, if we create health savings account that enable people to save money for healthcare expenses, that is also the most important area you can cover. Then micro insurance, if you go for the micro insurance to provide micro insurance product that are affordable and accessible to low income household, this product can provide coverage for healthcare expenses, enabling people to access healthcare services without facing that catastrophic financial consequences. Then you can go for the crowdfunding. In the crowdfunding, you can create that crowdfunding platform that enable people to raise money for healthcare expenses. This platform allow individual to share their stories and ask for financial support from a community of donors. Then the last but not the least is blockchain technology. In the blockchain technology, you can create this solution that improve the transparency and accountability of health financing system. For example, blockchain technology can use that to track healthcare funding and ensure that it is used for its intended purposes, reduce the risks of fraud and corruption. That is the that area we know all. So overall, FinTech has the potential to significantly improve financial equity in healthcare financing by increasing access to that affordable and efficient financial services. By doing so, FinTech can help to ensure that everyone has access to the healthcare services they need, regardless of their financial situation. So I hope so little bit I have covered under this.
Definitely a great response to the question to begin with the Q&A. I'd like to ask our attendees, if you do have any questions for our speaker, please do send them in the chat box. All right, Jules. So the next question is, how inclusive is FinTech for women with disabilities in your country? And I know that your aspiration for your PhD studies is also going to cover disabilities and FinTech. So in your opinion, how inclusive is FinTech for women with disabilities in your country, in Bangladesh? You can also cover Asia Pacific region, and what has been done in this regard so far.
First of all, I will that notify this why I have chosen this for my next project. From my family, my that younger sister is disabled, so she can't walk. So she is in my house all the time. So this is more from my heart. So I have to work on this area. So in this question, regarding this question, when I thought for her, she is not alone. From Bangladesh, from Asia Pacific, and from the world, there are lots of people like her. So in many countries, women with disabilities face significant barrier to accessing financial services because they can't go in their nearest that financial service area like banks and financial institutions. So they can offer this kind of services. So this barrier can include that physical disabilities issues, lack of accommodation for disabilities, and that discriminatory practice is also there. So, however, there are several that initiative being taken to make fintech more inclusive for women with disabilities. One such initiative that I think that we can develop of accessible fintech product and services such as mobile banking app, and that with the help of, we have mobile banking app, but with the help of voice and text to speech features, that are the two features we can include in the mobile financial application or mobile banking application that make it easier for women with disabilities to access financial services. So, and in the banking service also, they are working for the blind people as well. So women with disabilities and blind, but they don't have to go to the bank. They speak, and that will go for them in the voice, or in the deaf people also they can also use, and the people who don't who can't go to the nearest bank, like my younger sister, so we can work for them. So that is the more that area. And if I approach to the bank and for a project as well, I think that will be the future. We have to think for them also. And in finance as well, there is a term called as time value of money. So people also, they are acting like a disabled like me. I don't want to go to the bank nowadays. Why? Because I that count every moment of my life with the money. So money, that happened for me as well with the time value of money. So with disabled people, with the physically able people also, this kind of services we can introduce for the remote area. So from my opinion, so we can build an app. That is my opinion.
I think that is amazing. I think you stressed the importance of having a accessible, friendly app, having fintech sector being more accessible to everybody, not just women, but even people with disabilities. And that is so important to creating this inclusive financial technology opportunities for everyone to access. Thank you so much for your response. There are a few questions in the chat box about sharing the PPT. So the webinar presentation is being recorded. So we will be sharing the recording on CSE's YouTube channel, where you can access the entire recording along with the PPT slides. All right, so moving on, the next question is, what will it take to develop fintech for countries with infrastructure challenges, such as limited internet and electricity access and so on?
Okay, that is also a nice question for this Asia Pacific region. So if I take the example of developing fintech solution for countries with that infrastructure challenges, such as limited internet and electricity access, can be a challenging task. However, there are several steps that can be taken to overcome these challenges and develop fintech solutions that are accessible and usable to this context. So first of all, it is very important to develop fintech solution that can work with limited internet connectivity. That is the point, limited internet connectivity. This can be achieved through the use of lightweight software and mobile application that require minimal data uses. It may also involve leveraging alternative connectivity options such as satellite internet or mesh network. Then secondly, addressing electricity access challenges can involve developing hardware and software solutions that are optimized for low power consumption, such as low energy servers or mobile devices with extended battery life. Additionally, renewable energy solutions such as solar panels or that hydro the turbine then that can be used to power devices and infrastructure in area without access to reliable electricity. And thirdly, it is essential to design user-friendly fintech solution that are accessible to people with varying level of digital literacy and language barrier. This can involve simplifying that interface and providing clear instruction and visual aid that help a user navigate and understand the fintech solution. Then finally, building partnership and collaboration with the local communities, government and business can help to identify the unique challenges and opportunities in a specific context and develop fintech solution that are tailored to local needs and priorities. So overall, developing fintech solution for countries with infrastructure challenges require a multidisciplinary approaches that take into account the technological, social, and environmental factors. So by working together and leveraging the resources and expertise of various stakeholders, then it is possible to develop fintech solutions that are accessible, sustainable, and impactful in this context. So.
Thank you so much, Joe, for your response. The next question is by an alumnus who is from Pakistan. They have said that, considering that over 80% of farmers are smallholders in South Asia, and they do not have access to technology, while they also fall short on digital literacy, how can fintech be incorporated to move smallholder farmers from subsistence farming to small-scale commercial agriculture? What are your views on this?
Okay. First of all, that fintech can play a crucial role in uplifting and empowering small farmers by providing them with access to financial services and digital platforms that can help them move from subsistence farming to small-scale commercial agriculture. However, given that more small farmers in South Asia lack access to technology and digital literacy, so that is the challenges we have. So we have to develop a solution, fintech solution, and that will be the user-friendly and accessible to them for their farming area. First of all, I have covered some point. First of all, we have to go for the digital financial services. Their fintech can offer digital financial services that are more accessible and cost-effective than traditional banking services. Like if you take the example from Kenya, M-Pesa, that mobile money services that have transformed access to financial services for small farmers in Kenya. So then we can take marketplaces. Fintech platform can create digital marketplaces where small farmers can sell their product directly to buyer, that cutting out intermediaries and increasing their profit margin. This marketplace can also provide that farmers with real-time market information, enabling them to make informed decisions about what crops to grow and when to sell them. Then the third one is farm management software. So they can use this farm management software for their small farm, for the farmers to manage their farm more effectively. Then they will go for the digital extension service. So in the fintech, they can cover that the digital extension services that provide small farmers with training and support on best practices in agriculture. Then last but not the least, blockchain technology. Fintech can use with the help of blockchain technology to create transparent and secure supply chain for agricultural products. This can help small farmers to prove the origin. Basically, blockchain technology go for the origin and quality of their product, and enabling them to that command higher price in the market. So that is the help of the blockchain technology. So overall, the key to incorporating fintech to uplift small farmers to design solutions that are that for their need and accessible and user friendly. And this will be that overall connectivity with the local organization and government to ensure that that small farmers have this necessary skill and resources to take the advantage of financial technology solutions. That's all from me.
Thank you so much. I think it's really important to have a multi-sectoral approach when you're implementing something, especially technology. So thank you for sharing that. All right, we have a question in the chat box, and the question is, have you identified any negative aspects of FinTech for sustainable development or unsustainability?
Okay, that's also the nice question. A negative point that I have faced during one of my Facebook group. That Facebook group, which has been that occupied by another person. So at that time, I have recovered that group from that person. So that was the situation I have faced, and another situation which happened with my family, with my father, with that phishing attack has been done by that hackers, that in his that mobile banking services. So this kind of that situation I have that faced in my situation. So nowadays I'm more conscious about that.
And what can be done when experts such as you within the financial technology industry, what can be done if you do experience such negative aspects or experiences within FinTech? How can you curb that in order to achieve sustainable development?
Nowadays, I just focused on that area where this kind of attack happened, and I am providing this kind of knowledge and financial literacy in the FinTech area to my students as well as in my communities. Apart from that, in my family as well, I am providing knowledge to my family regarding this kind of issues. That is most important part. That is the literacy part. So if you know that if you use this kind of situation and if you use this kind of approaches when hackers are approaching you, if you are providing the information to that hacker, at that time you will be hacked. What happened in our Bangladesh bank cases also as well. So they are targeting you. So you have to know how to stop that. That means if you use unidentified application in your mobile phones, they are stealing your information. They are providing some messages, they are providing some network jam in your mobile phones or internet or your personal accounts. So you have to know how to build a strong password, or if you are using the mobile application services in the that from your country, you have to go for the two-factor identification biometric. So you have to know how to use that as well. If you don't know how to put the biometric, then it will be riskiest moment. If you don't know two-factor identification, that will be another case. If you don't know OTP, that will be the that another case. You have the hackers is around you, so you have to identify how you are providing the information. So at that time you have to stop that. Nowadays in our country there are lots of advertisement regarding this kind of issues. So mobile financial services, they are providing the awareness among the that greatest population. So from my side, I am providing knowledge to my students, my communities, my families to protect ours. So that's all from my side.
Great, thank you so much. And I think with this, we have now reached the end of the webinar. Thank you for responding to the questions. Apologies to everyone whose questions couldn't be answered, but I hope through the Q&A session and through the webinar presentation, Jewel has covered most of the concepts within FinTech. Jewel, if you can please move to the next slide. If you would like to get in touch with Jewel, he is available on email. You can see his email address on the screen, and also via LinkedIn. Jewel has, through this webinar, Jewel has helped in addressing the CSE development theme of promoting global prosperity. So he's also a member of the Knowledge Hub, promoting global prosperity. If you aren't a member of the Knowledge Hub, please do join the group. You can also get in touch with Jewel on LinkedIn, and he will be happy to respond to any of your queries that you might have around FinTech, around financial technology, and how this can be used within your own sector, whether you are in the health sector or the education sector, for example. If you want any cues on how to go about with it or understanding more about FinTech, please do get in touch with Jewel. Jewel, I do see a few questions in one question in the chat box. I will leave the webinar for a few more minutes, but if you would like to quickly give a few words before we close the webinar to all our attendees.
So thank you, Riva, for this opportunity once again. So this is the platform where I can explore myself with my limited knowledge, and my passion is to share knowledge. So that's why I'm in the education field. So this is the area where I can share my knowledge with my fellow scholars and current scholars. So this is the great platform for sharing my experience. Whatever I have learned during my education and overall experiences I have gathered, that all thanks goes to Commonwealth scholarships, because they have given me this opportunity that covered my education in FinTech area. So this is the platform where I can connect with the lots of scholars. So thanks all of you for joining this webinar. And I don't know how much I have covered, so that's up to you. And I think in near future we can connect with each other for more that work we can do together. So that field are open, and this is the open platform in the that sustainable development goal as well. So thank you for everyone.